you like your shows with hyper-stylized violence and crazy college dorm room shenanigans turned all the way up to 11, Gen V's got you covered. And if those surface-level pleasures are all that you're really looking for, then you're probably going to walk away from Gen V feeling pretty satisfied. But if you're hoping to get an experience that rivals The Boys, those chances get slim real quick. Hey friends, and welcome back to The Basement. Mr. Wilson here, and I'm going to be giving you my review of the first season of Amazon's Gen V. And since I've already got a couple videos posted, I'm going to make this one short and sweet. So let's get into it. The basic plot of this show revolves around a group of students who are trying to uncover and expose this secret underground lab that is underneath their school. The dean of this school is actually trying to create a virus that she hopes will wipe out all the soups. And I guess also that would include anyone who has injected themselves with Compound V. Now that is a very basic summary, and I'm just keeping it small for the sake of this review, but that is the basic gist of it in a little nutshell. Now, naturally, this show will be compared directly to The Boys because it ends up pretty much just being a prelude to the next season of that show. And when you bump these shows up against each other, for me, that's when Gen V falls apart. As I've mentioned in some of my other videos, I think most of the characters in The Boys are awesome. I think they're great. Homelander alone is one of the best villains in recent memory. That guy's f***ing diabolical. Now Gen V, on the other hand, more or less has none of that. I think having a central antagonist would have helped this show out immensely. If you don't have an engaging foil to the heroes, those main characters had better be very entertaining and interesting. Unfortunately, they're not interesting. Quite the opposite, really. I found most of the characters on this show to be difficult to invest in, boring, and even annoying to varying degrees. So much so, in fact, that I hope their involvement in the next season of The Boys is kept to a minimum, as they will most certainly be involved in it, and I think their presence can only bring that show down. Currently, I don't see how they are going to add any value to it. Now, in my opinion, the best things about this show are the plot elements that add things to the bigger picture of this franchise as a whole. The virus and whoever ends up getting their hands on it is going to be playing a very large role to the plot moving forward. Now, we know that Victoria Newman is the one currently in possession of this virus, and her being a soup herself, I'm actually really curious to see what her plans end up being for the virus before it's inevitably taken from her by somebody else. And let's not forget that Huey and Billy have both recently taken Compound V, making them susceptible to the virus. And I think that does add an interesting little wrinkle to things going forward. Now, visually and stylistically, it does very much feel like it is in line with The Boys. It just has that same feel and tone, and it looks pretty good for the most part. But when you dig a little deeper into it, into the characters, you start to find that the shows are actually pretty far apart. And it really is the characters that ended up being essentially the deal breaker for me. So in conclusion, and as I mentioned at the top of this, you'll probably get a lot more out of this show than I did if all the sex and the violence and the parties is enough for you. But if, like me, you were looking for something that is going to match the quality of The Boys, then you're probably going to be left a little disappointed with this show. And with all that being said, I'm going to be giving Gen V 3 out of 5 stars, but I am still going to be looking forward to the next season of The Boys. Thank you very much for your time, and if you liked what you've seen here, please go ahead and subscribe and like. Don't be afraid to get in the comment section and let me know what you thought of the show. And with that, I'm out of here.